Welcome, and get ready to join us as we explore the history of our past in another riveting episode of our Canal Days video series with Robert Camus. Founder of Historical Tours of Greater Holyoke, Robert guides you through the historic treasures of the Connecticut River Valley. From canals, cemeteries, churches, and beyond, experience the landmarks and their stories that are the foundations of Massachusetts' rich history. Visit HolyokeCanalTour.org for more details, book private tours, and watch the entire Canal Days video and podcast series. So get comfy, enjoying the personal tour right from your screen in today's episode of Holyoke's Second Congregational Church.
Alright, we're going to walk around the Second Congregational Church. You can see it's a beautiful brownstone church. This was made in 1886. If you see Romanesque elements and Gothic elements, that's because it was originally built to be a Romanesque revival. And so the left-hand tower here has Romanesque windows. But if you look at the middle portion, a lot of the windows there are Gothic windows with spires on them. All right, quite a difference. That's because in 1919 there was a fire here, and they had to replace most of the building. But they kept as much as they could as the old building as possible. So by looking where the Gothic elements are, you're looking at where the replacement was taking place. A beautiful chapel alongside it, the Skinner Chapel. It was donated, the funds, by the Skinner family in honor of their father. All right, I'm sorry about the date, 1912. And so during the fire, because there's a separation or gap between the two buildings. And you can start to see some more Romanesque elements on this side. So the middle part of this main church was replaced. The side here was not. All right, quite a big difference. And so we have to walk around the entire building. And you can see the beautiful doorways, the windows. The chapel itself is gorgeous. It has a portico for itself. It has a beautiful entranceway. Double door. Above it says Skinner Memorial Chapel. And the stained glass window inside are of the Skinner family. So it's quite gorgeous to go inside. So if you ever have a chance to go inside either one of these churches, make sure you take the opportunity. And they put a lot of money into this. It's quite gorgeous inside. Both the church and the chapel have an organ, a Skinner organ, made by the Skinner Organ Company of Boston. And you have some spires back here in the sacristy area and in the apse area. And the back of the church is quite gorgeous, almost as gorgeous as the front is. Both churches, our chapel and church, come very close together here. And here's the back of the chapel. You can see it's apse, and it has a slate roof to it. And then here's the back social hall and function halls of the church itself. It has a spire too. And you can see it made of beautiful brownstone, whereas there's a redder element to the chapel. And you're now on High Street, so we started on Maple, went down an alleyway, and now we're on the third side, which is High Street itself. And you can see the gap between the two, and they built an extension from the chapel into the church. And this back here is the former social hall, and they used to have the rector and minister live back here too. Okay, we're going to go on to the fourth side of our trip around this church. You can see the back of the tower. Now this is a replacement from an 1850 church that was right across from where the Dwight Street side of the Holyoke City Hall was. That church lasted until 1886 and they took it down only after 36 years. I have a picture of it up on my website, but you can see its replacement is absolutely gorgeous. And now we're looking down High Street itself. Alright, the fourth side of the rectangle that forms this church campus. We have a very busy side entrance here with a nice door. Alright, and you're going back to the Romanesque elements here because this is part of the building that didn't burn. But then very quickly, a lot of these elements here in Gothic are replacements. And you can see the buttresses are much bigger back here. And the tower is quite gorgeous from a lot of different angles. And again, they have a slate roof, both church and chapel. And these stained glass windows are quite beautiful. Okay, and you can see on the outside, if you look carefully, and I would say that tower is about 100 feet tall. Okay, in the cornerstone says 1849, 1883. 1849 is when they started the first edition of the Second Congregational Church, ready in 1850. 1883 is the year that they started work on this church, finished in 1886. In front they have a plaque to the memorial of the September 11th victims. And you can see how gorgeous this building is from the side here. A gorgeous dorch for itself. Okay, and we'll go off to the cornerstone. So you can see one cornerstone in here. It says 1920. That's the year they started fixing this middle portion that was most severely burned. And then there's two more cornerstones over here. The 1883 and the 1849. All right, so thanks for coming along.